Solo Leveling is one of, if not the most influential webtoon out there, and yet irregardless of its age, it continues to be one which has had the worst influence on webtoons as a whole. Solo Leveling, most people, is a very old webtoon, one that precursors a lot of the modern ones and can even be considered one of the first forays into modern webtoon styles. And yet, because of that, it started the greater cultural shift to reading them as a whole in ways that no others have. Chances are if you indulge in them, you have seen this trope through and through millions of times. Something befalls the main character, they get a system, and then they become super powerful while looking like every e-boy's Discord profile picture. Whoop-de-doo. But it's also revolutionary in its own right too. To say Solo Leveling is the reason some of the best webtoons out there exist is horribly under-exaggerating it. It popularized the type of manhwa that of which it stars. Stories of fights and losses, weak to strong, hunters, gates, reincarnation, and fighting for your life. Things synonymous with the webtoon industry. It revolutionized the industry in a way nothing else could. In the same way Sword Art Online spawned the I entered a video game genre, Solo Leveling started the my brother in Christ you are the video game genre. For example, if you want one more centered around the weird and wacky aspects of games, yet heartwarming in a way that you cannot describe, you have Hardcore Leveling Warrior. Want the best story that you have ever read? SSS Class Survival Hunter might work for you. Want a comedy one? You have these. If you want slop, pick your poison. One of these has been influenced in some way, shape, or form by Solo Leveling, whether it is in a giga dump truck amount or a tiny tincture's worth. Manhwa's inspired a derivative of the whole or parts of this thing. It is fascinating to see the amount that it has terraformed the landscape around it as a whole. Yet, I still feel like, for all the good it has done, it is one of the most boring webtoons out there. Look at this. These are all the characters that appear in the whole series. Aren't they awesome? Don't they look cool? They don't have an influence on our favorite edgy anime boy. They lack any impact in this story. Or the conflicts that are resolved in one chapter. Because he's so epic and cool that he can kill anything with one purple sperm eye and a big scary aura. Yeah, he looks cool, but he lacks so much to make him interesting. He's designed to make it so the viewer can place themselves in their shoes. He's strong but motionless, he fights but never has trouble, he has a problem and yet no flaws, a Mary Sue boiled down into its finest essence. When you make a character, you need to make them have something compelling. Are they meant to be cool and strong or weak and cowardly? Each character must have something compelling to them. For example, the start of Solo Leveling begins with a bunch of bad stuff happening to our main character, but the basics is, he gets to the end of the dungeon, his friends scuttle away like a bunch of roaches and or die, and then he dies on a big altar like a stuck pig. But you would think this is something pretty traumatizing, and he would be traumatized and pissed as hell, right? Because surely, if you were stuck on the altar of some Aztec deity of fertility, you'd be pretty mad. This is rarely brought up. In fact, practically all of the events happening in the entire series barely affect him at all. Going from running away soy boy loser to Giga Chungus guy in the space of 20 chapters is completely normal, apparently. Obviously, I'm not saying, oh well, he should just be weaker and show more trauma. I'm saying the events that occur should have consequence in some shape or form. For example, the girl that is mentioned at the start of the manhwa is meant to be someone important to him. It is shown that she is someone that has changed him in some way or kept him alive throughout all of this. She is barely a presence in the webtoon, until very specific parts. His sister, like 5 chapters, made a potion for her. His power level? He immediately early on is able to kill this in one hit. Keep in mind, he has not progressed through the story that much. He was struggling to kill basic animals just a few chapters ago, and this is something that will translate over to the whole, more poorly made, inspired by Solo Leveling schmucks. Solo Leveling thrives off the fact that the character is so ordinary and flawless, which is really good for getting middle schoolers to read with hype moments and aura, but that can only really get you so far if you have a boring story. Constantly, they will bring up plot point after plot point, and yet throughout it all, they constantly bear minimal fruit. The keys that are barely used, the concept of classes ignored until one single thing, and then ignored after. The daily quests, which for some reason are barely used at all, but then finally brought up when he needs it, and no other time. There's so many things that are left unexplained and completely underutilized as a whole that makes reading the story make you go, oh boy, I can't wait to see this mechanic again, only for it to never happen. But despite all of its problems, it is hard to deny the impact that it has and how it reflects the industry as a whole. Because one of, if not the most striking things about this webtoon was the style. The art style for the time it came out felt crisp and the style felt ingeniously done. Every line felt intentional and every effect felt right. The style of Solo Leveling inspired many other studios though to follow in suit, which is why it really hurts when you find out how he died. Trends in webtoons don't just boil down to the webtoons themselves. Artists have to overwork themselves to make up for the rabid fans, or the people breathing down their necks and they don't let other people down. So many artists in the industry get burnt out like a candle because of people that pressure them into it. When they get tired, people say to take a break, and yet to take a break means people will get furious at them, demanding new chapters to come out irregardless of the state they are in. At the end of every single season, for every single manhwa, you will always see that they need to take a break for the artist's mental health. The state of the industry as manhwas or webtoons in general is so unhealthy that it means that to take a break is to have 2 weeks and to resume a multi-year tirade of constant work. Solo Leveling may have problems, but the impact it had undoubtedly set a sort of baseline for manhwa, something that many could build off of as a foundation. The way Solo Leveling affected the entire sphere is often understated, whether for good or for bad. But it's undeniable that Solo Leveling has changed how they were written forever. Whether you're reading on an aggregator site or an official app, you'll probably see the problem with Solo Leveling appear in every action manhwa out there. But its effects will always linger. Good, or bad, and for the ugly. Hello. First of all, thank you, Tenji, Umbra / Terra, and Bagel. You three are my wonderful patrons who have waited for this through thick and thin, and I'm sorry I couldn't provide you better content than this, but there will be soon. So, you'll probably notice I've made a foray away from pixel art. That's right. I'm still obviously going to be making pixel art in my free time, but it's very likely I'm going to move away from that in the future. I haven't been enjoying it that much, but I do really want to make stuff that I enjoy making instead of pixel art tutorials, which felt like a slog to create. Anyways, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below and I will surely read it. Make sure to like and subscribe too. Bye bye.